Tiramos al que está pendiente de la cita. Está malvada y quien la ve tan bonita. Estoy pa' ti siempre, beba. Bebamos la noche entera. Baby, nos jugamos tú y en la noche. Eres independiente y se te ve. Yo lo sé que tienes interés. Baby, baby, nos fugamos. Un mensaje mío, ya mismo te pones bien elegante, yeah. Lo que yo sí he creído, pero lo que hago contigo en la noche es arte, yeah. Quieres la llamas cuando tienes frío. Al menos, chica, eres muy sensata. Te vas cuando tus padres están dormidos. Y lista pa' perrear, baby, a los saca. Baby, nos fugamos tú y yo en la noche. Eres independiente y se te ve. Yo lo sé, tienes interés. Baby, baby, nos fugamos. 1, 2, 3, comienza la acción. Ella es fanática de la atención. Canta a pulmón justo esa canción que le cambió toda la dirección. Ya que ese ex no quiere más, no quiere llanto, no quiere nada. Quiere gozarla, quiere escapar de lo que era su realidad. Ya no está puesta para el drama, lo que quiere es gozar, no pecar.
Wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally.
Hello, everyone. This is Wanda, your host of Salty Coffee. I'm experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties with my interviewee, but in the meantime, I am Wanda from New York. Salty Coffee was started in 2020, and it was the purpose to have empower and inspire and inform and entertain. Today, we're going to reintroduce you to Maria Hernandez, and she is the author of, oh, there she is. Awesome. So glad you're here. I was beginning to get nervous, but she's there. She's here with us. And I just did a talk on stereo, but for those of you who don't know me and you're new, my name is Wanda. There's plenty of information and resources. Please, if you're new, subscribe. It's free to YouTube. I'm trying to get to 100 numbers, to 100 subscribers. It's free, commercial free for that matter. And so I think I'm 9 people away from it. So I would really appreciate you sharing. We are heard in 21 countries and about 20 something states. So you already know how that goes. But today is November 8th, and it is elections in New York State. And one of the topics that I had earlier on another platform was about lobbying. So I'm going to do a series of lobbying. What does that mean? How can you lobby? How can you do it on your own? And just describing what people think when they hear that, because that is important. But this episode with Maria Hernandez is brought to you by Bamblish. And Bamblish is a company owned by a beautiful Black woman from Antigua, I believe she's from. And we did a talk, I think it was November something, no, October something, October 15th. I don't remember the date, but go back and listen to her purpose, her lifestyle, why she ended up making panties for women in transitioning from, regular general menstruation to what's that called? Menopause. Sorry, menopause. So that's important. And for young girls to know how unsafe tampons are and pads, how unsafe it is for the environment, and the things that we can do with her products to make things better. And guess what? To save money. Enough is enough with making other people rich while we destroy our own resources, and let's have that conversation with our own people. Because when I told people about the panties, they're like, "Ooh, wait, what? I gotta wash? What? Wait, what's going on?" But think about all the times that you throw that other stuff in the earth and the environment, and the our beautiful sea of animals, that our natural environment is just being destroyed with this. She said it takes 400 years for a pad to dissolve. 400 years. So think about that. There's more women than men, first of all, and let's just leave it at that. But here's another person that I want to promote, and it's Miss Shelby. Miss Shelby, the diva of Southern Soul, is now the she signed into a record label with L Town Records in Mississippi, and thanks to her, she created just put it on me. Put it on me. Let me just give you a little.
Hey, ladies, how y'all doing out there? I got something I want to say. So come on and pull up a chair and let's talk about these sorry men. Because 95% of them all talk and no action. I had a guy that was chasing me down talking about what all we could do. So I took him up on his offer, y'all. Yeah, he wined and dined. And after that, he took me back to the room. But ladies, don't let these men fool y'all.
Don't. So now they have the video. So if you Google Shelby Diva of Southern Soul, put it on me. The video is out. It's beautiful video. She is a woman that's amazing. She's doing her thing. She's fulfilling her dream. She didn't let her age, she didn't let her circumstances stop her from her talent and sharing her music and her voice. She has a beautiful voice. So here we go. I'm going to introduce you to Maria Hernandez now because, this is what I do. Hey,
Hello.
can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear
That's
me?
what I'm talking about. I can hear you. How you doing, my dear?
I'm excited to have you here.
I am excited to be
We
here.
decided and it feels so good.
Listen, I was writing down about Miss Shelby. I'm liking her music. It is wonderful.
She's on TikTok. There's people playing her music on TikTok. Just so you
Oh, I gotta check it out. I definitely do.
Yeah, and her music is on Spotify, so you can,
Awesome.
share on Spotify. But if you need to purchase anything, just let her know. She's very available, and she's very responsive. So she's awesome. I love her. I actually
Oh,
went
that's
to
great.
Mississippi to meet her, because at this point, that's how I want to do the podcast, Maria. I want to go into your neighborhood. I want to go to see what you're doing, how you do it, and then let's have the interview virtually.
Awesome. Awesome.
So how you doing? I miss you.
I miss you too. It's just been such a whirlwind for me. I mean, with COVID and trying to get myself back on track with the book and with the movie, and we've discussed regarding my brother, and it's just been crazy. But I'm still smiling, and I'm still moving forward.
Listen, that if you're a New Yorker and you can make it here with the obstacles and challenges that we face every minute is something in New
That's
York,
right.
and we
Let
still
me tell
walk
you.
around. And I think that's why haters hate us, because it's like, damn it, how are they still walking around smiling? What's going on?
Exactly.
We try.
Exactly.
They try over and over again to beat us down, and we just overcome it. And specifically women, we just like, dude, we got to keep moving. There's no
Let me
time.
tell you, one of the good one,
Ooh, I lost.
one of the things that did you lose me?
No, I got you now.
Okay. One of the things that I always emphasize is this right here, honey. I voted.
Hmm. Absolutely.
This will get, this is one of the things I did this morning. Today's my day off. As you know, I'm also a postal worker. I wear many hats. So I have the day off and I said, you know what? I'm going to vote. I'm going to make sure that I vote. I'm going to make sure I do a few things and then I'll come back and I'll do the podcast with you. And then from there, I'm going to do some more stuff because, listen, one of the things I've learned is that voting is power. And that's the bottom line.
Do you think now that you say that, why do you think other people feel differently about it? Because I had that conversation this morning, and I don't really want to get into it, but I'm curious now to see that New Yorkers are really focused, like states like New York and now Atlanta, Georgia, um, and California for sure.
Yeah.
California for sure. California does a great effort on making sure that their communities are aware of who their
Yes.
elected officials are. Why do you think a lot of people feel depleted and like I'm done with voting and politicians?
I feel this way. I mean, I could only tell you from my experience. From my experience, from what I see, it's just so much rhetoric going on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth that some people they just get tired and they're like, look, whatever happens, happens. I I personally think there's always power in numbers, powers in the number of people that go in and they go in and vote and do what they have to do. Again, there are some people that are probably going through some personal things, personal items, and they're like, look, I don't got no time to vote. Or there's some people who say, you know what, things aren't going my way. Why should I vote? I vote, and we'll get into what everything I'm going through. But the reason I vote is because I want my voice to be heard. And one of the ways my voice can be heard is by casting that ballot because I'm letting them know, look, I'm trusting you to take care of a city that I love. And the beauty about democracy is that if it don't work out in 4 years, we could try somebody else. You know?
Absolutely. And do you see that things are getting better? I mean, I see it in a twist because of post COVID, of course. Like
Hmm.
I could also kind of feel like, damn, was this shit on purpose? Because we were just like right there, like just when we just had it, at least in my neighborhood, like just when we like got it, we got it. We know how the system works. We know exactly what we need to do. We know who we need to put in office, and bam, they took it all away from us.
I feel the same way. I feel like, one of the things is, as you know, 2019, I filmed my movie based on my first book, based on Trapped. And everything, like you said, everything was in place. The movie was just finished. We just finished the editing. I was talking with a few people. We did a podcast interview. Everything was going great. And boom, COVID. And the thing is, we all thought, oh, it's only going to be a few weeks. They're going to find something. It's going to be fine. And when we realized that it was not going to be a few weeks, that it may be months, I didn't even think about years. I thought about okay, from a few weeks, maybe a few months. 2 years? It rocked us. It's rocked us to our core.
Okay,
I believe it did.
so enough about New York and politics.
I know.
How are you feeling? How is this Maria different from the Maria in 2019-20 when we did our interview?
The
And
Maria,
you can start at your level because like I know there's lots of layers to Maria. Like Maria, which one, Wanda? Which one do you want me to start? Which one? So
let
you
me
start
tell
at your
you.
own pace, which whatever from the lovely person that you are to like okay,
Well, let me start off as Maria as the daughter and the sister.
okay,
That was, I think, it's been the most, and I want to touch on that a little bit because that has been the one that has motivated me the most to do a transition in my career writing into other things. Now, you know, I've never really been an advocate. I've always been a person that I do contribute, but not wasn't much. And it wasn't until my mother went into a nursing home and I had to care for my brother who's autistic that it has been challenging. I didn't realize not only the backlog, but the obstacles that the state of New York puts us through in order to get services. And that what would happen with all of that what I had to do to get my brother the services that he so sorely needs, it has changed my perception on what my calling is. You understand what I'm saying?
right, absolutely,
It was first of all, I thought okay, let me start. April 2021, my mom went into a nursing home. On top of everything else with COVID and everything else, my mom's dementia went off the stratosphere to the point where she had to go to a nursing home. So now I'm thinking with my brother, he's autistic, he gets his benefits, he gets his this, he gets all the things that he gets. It's going to be easy to get services for him. It all started when I was told, oh, his Medicaid doesn't have a certain code. Okay, let's get the code. Long story short, it was so much turmoil and so much denial. OPWDD, which is the office, I gotta read it here because the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, it they were requiring so many things, but one of the things that they required was proof that my brother was autistic under the age of 22 when he went to school. Now, that boggled me because I said, wait a minute, I thought autism was something that happens from childhood. So it shouldn't be a question.
right,
I went, I tried to get his medical records. I found out that in New York State, I don't know if other states, but in New York State, after 10 years, they destroy your old medical records. They do not keep any old medical records past 10 years. The school, my brother's 49 years old. He went to school in the 70s and the 80s. There wasn't much talk about autism back then. So they had given him a diagnosis of mentally disturbed. When I saw that, I almost fell off my chair, because I'm like, what are you talking about mentally disturbed? So from there, I had to convince OPWDD that he had autism before, well, when he was a child. It didn't just happen when he became an adult.
right.
That alone was a challenge. I am happy to report that after much crying, after much yelling, after much, saying, look, I'm done. Yesterday, I did get a email telling me that he was finally approved.
Awesome.
But now this is my thing. I wouldn't want another family to go through what I went through. I wouldn't want another sibling to go through what I went through. I wouldn't want, listen, it was so, it's like I was stuck in the middle, and I knew I had to take care of my brother, but at the same time I'm working full time at the post office. I'm trying to get my books, and trying now, everything is alleviating, so I'm trying to see about streaming the movie. I had to put that on hold for a minute because I had to take care of my brother. So I one of the things that I want to do is I am going to write about my experiences on what I went through in the past few years, especially with my brother. And now I'm going to begin being an advocate, because I know there's other siblings out there that are going through the same issues that I'm going through. And I know there's many siblings that had no choice but to give up on their siblings.
Right. Right.
And that's what I'm hoping with my advocacy and with my book and with just speaking out on it. I'm hoping to reach out to those that want to give up and say, no, no, don't give up. Here's how it can be done. Because it's ridiculous how people with developmental disabilities are being treated here. It's ridiculous.
Do you think, let's say you weren't available, how would you, like, what would you see? How would you see your brother having to struggle? Um, I mean, we see it. I'm in the Bronx, and I could see people that
Hmm.
potentially may have been diagnosed with that, and they're just walking around because they didn't have a sibling like you, or a parent like you.
Definitely, definitely. I see it. I grew up in the projects, and in the projects, there were, a few children and adults with autism, and I saw where their moms or their moms took care of them. Then their moms couldn't take care of them anymore for whatever reason. They died, or in a hospital, or in a nursing home. Siblings try to take care of them, and what happens is that they're lost in the system. They fall into the cracks. I will bet my bottom dollar that if we go into Rikers and we find out regarding these troubled kids, some of them will be autistic. And it'll be that they ran in with the wrong crowd. An autistic child or adult, they don't really have the concept of right and wrong. They just do what they're told to do.
Right.
They want to make friends. They think everyone is their friends. They're trusting. So, and a lot of people out there take advantage of that. Where would I have seen my brother? I tell you the truth. I would have seen my brother probably kicked out of the apartment, probably homeless, probably in jail if I were not here to step in. And that's one of the things yesterday when I spoke with a panel of psychologists, who, thank goodness they finally approved them. But I told them my biggest fear is that I die and my brother falls through the cracks. I don't know if that was the factor that said, what, let's approve him or what, but I spoke from the heart, because that's my fear, Wanda.
And do you see, have you met any advocacy groups that do this as their job, or even as a voluntary basis? Do we have that in New York City? Did you find any?
That I did not see. The people that I have been talking to has been Autism Speaks.
Okay.
I have been speaking with them throughout my journey.
You froze a little bit, so let me see something here. I apologize, but I think you're okay. She's frozen. She'll be back. Because I. Hi, Evelyn. How are you? Hello, Lulu, Shonda. How's everybody doing? The paperwork and abuse is insane. Okay, there you go.
Okay, there I go. So I was like, oh my goodness,
No,
oh
that's
my
fine. You
goodness.
ain't going nowhere. I got you.
I know that's right. So I have been speaking with Autism Speaks. One of the things, because my mind was so into trying to get my brother approved, that I have not really done the research to see if there's anything in New York, if there's anything there. But now that everything is okay and we're just getting him navigated, absolutely, I'm going to look into that. I I am livid at the fact that such a big state like New York, it shouldn't be that hard for someone with developmental disabilities to get services. Maybe if they would help more, it would help these kids to be off the streets, to be out of the jails,
Absolutely.
to be out of the institutions. That's one of the things why I go back to voting. Voting is power. Listen, I want to vote because you know what? I want my voice to be heard. And as a registered voter, it gives me like it gives me the urge to keep moving
A
forward.
taxpayer too. We pay a lot of taxes, and as a single
Absolutely.
person, you don't get half of it back. And
Absolutely.
in fact,
I
you get more.
remember. Yes, I remember when I lived in Florida for 6 years, and my paycheck looked great because they don't take off the taxes that they took out here. So when I moved back and I started working here again, and I saw my paycheck, I said, "Where's my money?"
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's crazy.
And
It's
I
nuts.
know you're in a place of work where you can actually transfer. Does that work like that? Like, do you actually get the same pay if you? There you go.
Yes, yes. We do get the same pay. And we get they won't pay for our moving or anything else that we would have to pay, but we would get the same pay. And I believe the only thing is our seniority.
We'll
We
change.
would lose our seniority if we move to another state or to another area.
Okay, and that's not an option for you right now. No,
No, it's not. But I tell you, I was so
about
disappointed. I was so disappointed with New York that I was actually thinking about moving out of state with my brother,
right.
in order to get him the services. I said, and I did tell them, listen, I'm gonna do what I have to do for my brother, and if it means leaving New York, hey, we'll do what we have to do.
Hmm.
It's something that I really want to get into it, and I'm really getting passionate about, because I'm really thinking about all these other families out there that are going through this, and people that are not as informed. Because if I didn't go in there deep and go looking and do research and do this and do whatever I had to do, I would have still been at square one. But I know there's families out there that don't even know where to
Sorry.
start.
Right.
That's where I want to be the point, the starting point.
And a good place to
Show them where to
start
start.
is if you have children, because I'm thinking like, okay, your mom, you know, she wasn't probably
Hmm.
that young when she had your brother and yourself, but
Right.
to do it by herself too, because, she had to do all of this on her own. So
Yeah.
just with that fact alone and that knowledge of knowing that, that's what I was thinking of today's talk was here's a person who's from another country, things work differently. You're in a new country, and this is how you believe the system works, but you're scared of this system because you've heard stories and traditions and history on certain things that you want to protect your children so much, especially if they have a special need, that you want to remove yourself from that said system because you know they're going to get hurt somehow,
Yes.
some way.
Yes.
And unbeknown to her, here's where we are at.
Yes. Yes. And it was like that. Back in the day, me growing up, my mom gave birth to my brother when she was 43 years old. She
Wow.
was 33 years old when she gave birth to me. So she did have us at a late age. Um, the misinformation that I'm pretty sure she was given back in the day was immense. Back in the day, it was like, okay, 96th Street and below, we're going to help. 96th Street and above, well, forget about that. I grew up in that era. I grew up in that era where taxi drivers would not even think about going across 96th Street uptown.
And
I remember they would leave my aunt because my aunt used to love taking me shopping downtown. We used to go shopping. She used to take the taxi to 96th Street, and from 96th Street, we would take the train back, further uptown because a taxi driver wouldn't dare come over here. They didn't want to. We were not worth having a taxi service, and and a lot back then. I know my mother was misinformed, and now here we are. Fast forward, my mom is in a nursing home, and I've had to undo the damage that was done back in the day. So what I want to reach that mom that's probably not very knowledgeable in regards to the system, and take her under my wing and say, come here. This is how you're going to do it. This is how it should be done. You know, a lot of families are still under the mindset of, okay, if anything happens to me, the sister or the brother will take care of it. Now, little known fact is that if anything happened right now with my brother, with my mom in a nursing home, just because I'm the sister doesn't mean anything. I still have to get his permission to talk to any of his doctors or anything like that. If I get a power of attorney and my brother passes away, the power of attorney passes away with him. And I won't even have a right to bury him. So those are things you understand. Those are things that I'm learning, and I'm like, oh shoot, because my mother was under the impression that, oh yeah, Maria will take care of it. She'll be fine. She's a sister. But I've had to like literally claw my way through this system because it's totally different from what they thought,
right.
and
And
that's why.
I think it's very thoughtful of you that and scary that we haven't heard of a story like this. Not even in a film or anything. We haven't really
Mhm.
heard it. And I think a lot of times people feel ashamed, embarrassed, because they don't want to put their sibling out there with knowing their business pretty much.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's sad.
yeah.
But and it's sad that me as an advocate, I haven't heard of any group advocacy for. I mean, I've heard of places that you can go and places, but just to get that detailed in the help and the assistance, the paperwork, step by step, you know, um, and why is that? Is it because the percentage is low? Is it because it's not a priority? Most of the time, it's because it's not a priority. People make,
Exactly.
people will make the money where they see fit for themselves, and the hell with everybody else. And that's sad.
Exactly, exactly. And it's not talked about much because you hit it on the nose, the shameful factor. My child or my sibling is sick. I can't do anything about it. Or sometimes a parent, listen, my mother for years, autism was not said in the household. What was said was my brother, oh, it's his nerves. Oh, he's just a very nervous young child. He'll get over it, but he draws very well. And these are things that my mom used to say to compensate the fact that she had a child with special needs. A lot of parents out there feel like they failed in somehow. Maybe I shouldn't have smoked that cigarette. Maybe I shouldn't have gone through that factory. Maybe I should have stayed home. It's my fault. No. And that's where you say you haven't heard it, girl. You're going to hear it soon because I'm working on that
Oh,
because that's what I want. I want to advocate and tell the people it's okay to not know. It's okay to have that child, but let's work on getting that child or that adult the help that they need.
right. And a lot of the times parents, whew, man, a lot of the times we use the educational system to make those determinations because they see that the a lot of the times it's aware and it's made aware during their educational process when they're learning. And some teachers gravitated right away. Some teachers are like, well, can't help you there. Here's the paperwork you need to fill out, but you need to find a school for your child that works best for them. And
Exactly.
how did you see that growing up with your brother and not being able to be in spaces, or if you were in spaces with your brother around that school years and grammar school or how did you
Mhm.
feel? Like, how was that for you as a sister?
Um, wow. You know, oh goodness. When I remember when my brother was going to school, and he was in special education all of his life. Throughout his all young year, he was in special education, and I do remember as a sister, okay, because there wasn't that much education on it. I do remember like making sure, thanking the heavens that I was 10 years older than him so that we wouldn't be in the same school together. Because I didn't have the education of knowing of like, I didn't have an understanding of autism.
Right.
So and of course, and this is another factor. Um, a lot of families, when they have a child with special needs, they figure, hey, the child that's okay, they'll be okay because they're fine. I have to focus all my attention on on this child with the special needs. I have to coddle them. I have to hold them. I have to make sure that they're not this. I have, but the other child will be okay. That does a lot of psychological effect on a child, especially on the child who does not have the autism. And the reason that it does that is because bottom line is they don't feel loved. So growing up, I remember that, I had my own thing with my school and everything else, and my brother had his own thing. And, it was like, I, I feel like I rebelled a lot because at school, because I craved that attention. You know what I mean? And that affected in many years because I feel now I look back and I said if I would have maybe paid more attention to what my brother's situation was, what his condition was, how the system worked, how everything worked, maybe it would have been easier for me to go and do what I had to do now today that my mother's older and is in a nursing home. I feel that's a gap that I would love to close. I would love to close that gap because not only have that person, that child with the special need, but also have that older sibling or the younger sibling that may be feeling and getting that younger sibling to understand what is going on with their sibling.
Right.
I feel that's very, very important because if as a family dynamic, everyone is on the same page on what to do, I feel that the navigation will be a lot easier as everyone gets older.
And as far as you as a child
Hmm.
and family functions, did you feel that you always had to defend your son, or you were always on the lookout to see what people would say and you would defend him? Was that
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people, confuse autism with retardation. So back in the day, because there was no autism, it was the retardation. So now I'm echoing what my mother used to say, no, he's nervous. No, he's this. I remember I used to at parties, I used to have him next to me because I didn't knew he was going to be running around. Because children with autism, they're very hyperactive. So I knew, so I would have him next to me, and I learned how to, make sure he had his little toys, he had his stuff that would keep him, occupied. My mom back in the day, my mom used to be, with the friends hanging out, and you know how it is, watch your brother, kind of thing, So I did that. I did that a lot. So I always felt I had to protect them. Then I grew up and I got married, and it wasn't a big need anymore because now he's older. I said, okay, now he's older. He's okay. He's fine. And I went and I got married, and I moved out the house, and stuff like that. And, but one of the things I did was rely on my mom to say, well, mom's taking care of him. Everything is okay. But mom didn't have the education. Mom still was under that denial. So now, fast forward to now, when this is happening now with my brother, I'm like, oh my God, I felt overwhelmed because of all of the responsibilities I had besides him.
wow? So
Yeah.
when you got married, how did that look? Did you have any conflict, any um, resistance? You know, did how did your brother feel when you left? Like, how close were you to your brother? Or because my understanding with children who have autism, right, is that
Hmm.
they may seem aloof and distant, but is that really like how does that work? Like, how did he feel? Do you recall how he felt when you?
I when I got married and moved out of the house, like you said, a lot of the autism, they feel on the outside they're aloof and stuff like that, but inside I feel that they feel the pain and the loneliness. Because I was always the one taking care of them. I was always the one. I potty trained my brother. I potty trained him. I would come home from school, drop the books, and grab him. That's how it was when he was born. When I got married, he was, let me see, I was 19, so he was like 9 years old. We're 10 years apart. He
Wow.
was like 9, 10 years old. Yes, that's another thing. It was a big gap in our ages. Now,
You must you were
so
like second mom, like his real mom.
yeah, I was basically, and that's another thing I want to touch on. A lot of mothers, when they have this issue going on, a lot of them can't cope with it.
Right.
A lot of them, they're in denial, and they cannot cope with the fact that they have a child with special needs. In my mother's case, I mean, I wrote about it in my book, so I don't mind talking about it. In my mother's case, her escape was drinking. Her escape was, I need to have a drink. He's running around too much. I need to have a drink. I need to, have this and have that. And, I know that with a lot of mothers, they want that escape. They do it through either having the sibling take care of the kid all the time, and they get to escape and they get to like unwind because they feel, they feel, okay, I deserve this. I'm with this kid all day. You know what I mean? Um,
And it is
when
a
I got, hmm?
no. Go ahead. When you
No,
got
no, no. I was saying when I got married, I knew that he felt the loneliness because he no longer had that person there with him, which was me, because I was married. Now it was my mom, and my mom was in a lot of denial, and my mom was in a lot of I can't handle it. So I know it must have affected him in a lot of ways.
Do you recall any time? I don't know if you're
Mhm.
devoted religious person, but did that wasn't the case? Um, and if your mom was part of a religious group, how, if she was, how was that a community? Like, was there a community where that help would have been available? Do you think?
Mm. See, my mom was a church going person without being a church going person. I mean, she would be the one that would be with the Catholic Church. I respect it, blah, 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 this and that, but didn't set foot in one. That was my mom.
Okay.
I think the only one, the only one who would set foot in the church all the time was my grandmother. Other than that, my mom never really um reached out to any community groups or anything like that. And again, this all has to do with like A, shame, and
Right.
B, misinformation. There's and I see it today, there still is a lot of stigma and shame when it comes to children and adults with autism. Like I see it at I see it at work. I see it at work because there are mothers there that have their children with autism, and one of the first thing they tell me is, "Oh, it's so good that you're doing what you're doing because that's what my daughter's going to do if anything happens to me. She's going to take care of him." And I put a stop to them, and I let them know my story, what I go through,
Right.
and they look at me like, "What?" I said, you mean to tell me we're in 2022 and you didn't know that your daughter would not have any rights over your child with autism? And they still don't know, Wanda. That's when I saw the need. That's when I saw the need. I said, there has to be, I have to start organizing something because it's ridiculous that in this day and age, a lot of mothers still don't know. Just as my mother didn't know.
Right.
There's still mothers out there that don't know for whatever reason.
And siblings too,
Yes,
and
yes,
family members. Yeah.
yes. And that's why I feel that a lot of siblings, they just give up because first of all, they think like, I know they think like this. Well, that's not my child. I have a family. I have children I have to take care of. I can't take this on because it is hard.
Mm.
I don't know if it would have been easier for me to do if I were married with children, to be honest. Because I've literally wanted to have to lead a double life, which is my life working and taking care of home and doing what I have to do. And then going over to my well, now it's his house because we switched everything over to his name, to his house, and taking care of him. I tell people I don't have days off. I have days that I don't work because on the days that this right here interacting with you, I love it because I get to do something, that's mine that I love to do. I haven't been able to do that in almost 2 years
Since
because I've been at it.
since our last talk, and that's why I love it when I see you on TikTok. I'm like, there she goes. She's having some fun with this video. But
Absolutely.
instead of smoking a cigarette, which congratulations, You're how many years in now without smoking?
3 years I have not smoked a cigarette. I am like, whoa.
Congratulations. And that goes to show people that, you can do it if you set your mind to do it. So
Absolutely. A lot of people tell me because, I was a pack and a half smoker a day.
I know.
I was a heavy smoker. And the years when we used to do kickboxing, I was a smoker. That's why I could barely go through the warm up. You know, it was crazy. But a lot of people ask me, "How did you do it?" I want to do it. The only thing I could say is, when you're ready, you will
You
do it.
do it.
Because
Yeah.
I tried quitting so many times. I
I
did it for
remember.
the boyfriend. I did it for I love kickboxing. I did it for my mom. I did it for my brother. I did it for but I never did it for me. This time around, I said I have to do it for me. And it took one little thing, Wanda. I smiled one day and there was one tooth down here that was so yellow. That one tooth was so yellow. And I looked at it, I said, "What?
And it
Oh, wait
wasn't
a
about
minute.
coffee either. Because
Wait a minute." And that's when I decided, I said, I'm done. And plus, my body wasn't feeling the same. I'm 59 years old. My body's not what it used to be. So I had to quit. Yeah. And I did it for me. And I'm very happy that I did.
yeah, you should be proud of yourself because it's not easy.
Thank you so much.
It's not easy.
Mm.
It's a bad habit, and as we already know, is there are chemicals in it that make you want to do it over and over again.
Absolutely. There is addictive chemicals in each and every cigarette. And it's wild how it's legal to put all of these addictive stuff into an item just so they can make that money.
Toxic. And
Yes.
and to have a warning sign. Hey, if you do this, like we're telling you, and you're still doing it.
And you're still doing it. I know it. And it's the addiction
Hmm.
part that it's like we know it's bad for us. Every time I lit up a cigarette, I knew it was bad for my lungs. I knew my lungs were crying every time I would light up a cigarette. But if I didn't have that cigarette, it was like my whole body. I, I was when I quit, I went on the patch and I went on the gum. Now, they talk about the third day. The third day when you quit, that third day is the worst because that's when the nicotine is like pulls out of your body. I was literally in my bed in a fetal position, just like, oh my God, I want to die. I want to die. But I went through it though. But I want to die. I want to die. It's not easy. And you know what? That's what scares me whenever I say, maybe I should light up a cigarette. Then I remember that third day and I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Absolutely. So when it comes to writing the new book,
Yeah.
in recognition of your brother and your mom and the circumstances that you're experiencing right now, what would that look like in a film? What would your story be in the film, and to who?
I would love to do it as a documentary and have as much I see it as something where we would have people with different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different cultures, because culture plays a lot into families getting help. And I see it as a hodgepodge of a lot of people that when a person watches that documentary, they'll be like, hey, that's me. That's what I do see, and that's what I want to, put in together for writing in the book. That's why I want to sit with people. I want to talk to people. I want to ask the questions. I want to, not just regarding the autism, regarding how they feel about it. That's something I would love to see. I would love to see in a film.
I think, yeah, and I think sometimes when we create well, people in general create documentaries that tell a story that's so information, important, and essential to all people. Because as a person who has never experienced a family member with autism, I've worked with someone who has it, and I had to like search how do you, how do you interact with people with autism, the do's and don'ts. But still everyone is still different, and they
Hmm.
have there was a coworker of mine who I didn't even need to know that that's what it was, but I can tell based on what I've read and heard. They don't look at you in the eyes when they talk to you. They don't, they skip around. They're very active. They like to jump over, and a lot of people that annoyed a lot of coworkers. But I think um, it is essential that when you do this, more so for the people who are not in it, the people
Yeah,
who don't know, because sometimes we give that look, sometimes we act like, and it's not because we don't care and we don't love them, it's because we just don't know. We
and
get
education is the key.
education is the key. So definitely, when you are done writing it, please make I'm just letting you know, Salty Coffee said make sure you put something in there of like 5 things, important things that the general population should know of what to see of how um their behavior is at that time. Don't take it personal.
Absolutely.
um know that they have a heart and they are a person, and they have the ability to change it, not so much to acclimate to how we behave, because we've been programmed. We're programmed. They're the smart ones. They're the ones that know the truth.
Yes.
That's how they live their life within the truth. They're so honest.
Yes.
Hey, why do you
Yes.
have a mustache, lady? Like, they'll say,
Yes. Yeah, they will say the things
why
that
you
we are thinking.
no, won't say, because we're programmed
Yeah.
to have certain behaviors,
Yes.
in society. But so now it's not even about them learning to acclimate to how we behave, but us to understand why they say and do and behave the ways they do. And
That's what I want.
I think that's so important. And if you can put that in like an hour, 2 hour documentary, that would be, because I know there's also different levels too, right?
Yes, there is. And that's one of the things I've learned. Even though the behaviors are very similar, there are the autistic person who can have a full-time job, can run a business.
Absolutely.
There are people that are actors. There are people that are scientists. That but they have there's different aspects of autism, Asperger, and things like
Right.
that would determine, how what the level of their autism is. That's one of the things that I want to learn to educate people about, that there are different levels of autism, that autism is not a death sentence for the child. It doesn't mean that the child is going to end up in an institution. But if when you know and you're educated about what autism is, what is the different levels of it, and how it can be dealt with, that kid can thrive to be whatever they want to be.
Hmm.
And that's what I want. I don't want that child with autism to be watching TV 24 hours a day, living in a room 24 hours a day because the parents don't know what to do. That's what I want, Wanda. I mean, let me tell you, I am so gun ho. It reminds me of when I was writing traps. That I was so gun ho on writing traps and writing trap too. It was like my babies, and this is how I feel about it because New York doesn't have it. Doesn't have it,
No.
and I don't think I. And to be honest, I don't think they have it any in other states either. They do have more advocacy than others, but not like this, not the way I see it. The way I see it, it's just so many aspects. It's not just the child, it's the family, it's the education system. It's a lot of people, like you said, the people, the co-workers, the people next door that, living from them, they need this understanding of it.
Right.
And that's what I want to bring out.
And I also would like to add, once you write the book or the summary or whatever platform for the documentary, that there is a workbook for everyone to follow, so that within the documentary and the steps of identifying it, whether you're the family, the mother, the parents, or the siblings, whichever chapter you're in at that time, for each of them a workbook. What can I do today to understand my brother? What can I
Yes,
do tomorrow with
yes. And
understanding?
that is very important.
And it should be a constant workbook, like a journal, in a journal form.
Yes.
Have them, if it's for little kids, have
Yes,
them
and
draw.
and I was even,
If
yes,
okay,
I was thinking about also for the sister's point of view, the
right,
the mother's point of view,
yeah,
things like that, because it's a family thing, and that's what a lot of people with children with autism don't realize. It is a family thing. A mother has to be more understanding, a child has to be more understanding, and maybe with that workbook, thank you for the suggestion,
not
because that
even
sounds
that, because
great.
you said your brother is an artist, and I don't care what it looks like, but have that art within the book, the
Yes,
workbook,
yes,
in memory,
absolutely,
because I think it's
absolutely.
important for us to see, look, this is what it looks like in your eyes, but this is through his lens, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. And my brother, it's funny because my brother could take my book cover and he will
Enjoy.
draw it exactly as it looks. Exactly down to the eyes, to the veil, to everything. Everything. He has such a talent for that. And those are things that I want to bring out. Seek what talent. There's a talent that your child has, whether it's drawing, whether it's writing, whether it's whatever, whether it's
Numbers.
accounting.
I know numbers. Yeah,
Numbers. My
numbers.
bro- my brother knows algebra.
You
I
told me.
don't listen.
Told me.
Listen. That's why I ain't go to college, because I can't grasp algebra.
And guess
And
what?
he's
He knows algebra, right? As a language. That's his language. So
yes.
if you don't understand it, that's your problem.
There you go. There you go. When
Again,
I remember I had a workbook and he looked at it and he started, and I looked, I said, oh shoot, this is right. This is right. How do you know algebra? And he just shrugged his shoulders. He's like, I just know.
and that isn't that amazing that he
It
can't
is.
explain it,
Yeah.
but he knows it. That's his
Yeah.
language.
That's
Yeah.
his language.
And
You're right. That
and
is.
that's for us. That's what we need to start recognizing. I mean, I've always been compassionate about everyone in general, and I love
Yes.
everyone equally. But sometimes, you're like, well, okay, what's going on with this person? Like, look at me in the eyes and tell me what's going on. But
Yeah.
we should all know that
Yeah.
anyone with special needs has a specific purpose in this lifetime.
Yes.
And if they are what we consider aliens from another time coming in to tell us something, that we're so caught up with the BS in the program systemic, you know,
Yes. I
capitalism
agree.
society, they're here to tell us, no, this is the truth. And the
Yes.
truth of the matter is, none of that other stuff matters.
Yes.
What matters is that you love everyone equally.
And
Like,
that's a point I want to come across because, like I said, what happens is, and it doesn't, because it's happened to me, so I understand. It's not the siblings' fault. It's like the parent doesn't understand, so they feel they have to coddle the autistic child more than they have to coddle the others. But what they don't realize is that what they do with the others is that they'll look at the mom like, oh, so you love them more than you love me. That's another thing I would like, a gap that I would like to close. Let the siblings know, no, your parent adores you. Your parent doesn't have the information
right,
about that child. So that's a parent is a parent. Whenever a kid falls, what's the first thing a parent does? Goes over, checks it out, cleans the wound, puts a
right,
band-aid. That's the first thing a parent does. So that's what happens when a parent deals with a child with autism. Now have to watch that child more. You're gonna be fine. Your mind is fine. His is not, or hers is not, but they don't express that to the child. That's mine. It doesn't have autism. So
right,
now the child's looking at them like, okay, well, you love him more than you love me, and then you expect me to take care of him. That's not going to happen.
right.
That's the gap that I want to close, because I tell you, Wanda, I think about if I would not have been around and my mother would end up in a nursing home, my brother would have been lost in the system. And there are many out there in the system that shouldn't be there. That's what I want to touch on. And that's what I want to prevent for the future. If what I do will help someone 150 years from now, 100 years from now, oh God, had the happiest spirit on the on the atmosphere. And that's what I want.
Especially now when they say that it's high. Like, there are adults now that are being diagnosed with HDAD and a lot of those behavioral, I guess,
Mhm. Mhm.
uncommon thing that people in the regular society know how to handle and how to deal with, but we
Mhm.
don't. Um,
Exactly.
do you has any medication been included in any of this at the beginning stages? Like, did your mom disapprove of giving your brother any medication that may have been prescribed, or was that something that didn't happen before?
It did not happen before. I remember when because my brother would get severe asthma,
Okay.
and sometimes he would be in the hospital for weeks. And my mother's thing, again, protective, she would uproot me from my room and we would go to the hospital. No, we need to sleep in the hospital because your brother's there and we can't leave your brother alone. One of the things I do remember that they used to do with my brother is electroshock.
Mm.
And I think about that now and I'm like, yo, because I remember they used to put the probes on his this, so he was, oh my God, I'm going to say he was maybe 4 years old. And
Wow.
they used to put the probes on him. And I remember the look on his face of fear when he would feel those little electrode shocks. Because I guess they were stimulating the brain. I don't know what was their mindset back then. And I remember I would hold his hand and he would look at me like, get me out of here. And I couldn't do it. And then again, because my mom, as a mom, was not informed, she's thinking the doctors are doing the right thing. And I can imagine how many more kids they did that to. You know, I could just.
Lost her again. Okay, she'll be back. She'll be back. Thank you so much for those who are just hanging in there. And
I'm hoping you could hear me. There we go.
sorry.
And yeah, it was those are say things. And like I said, as I remembered those things later on in life because I guess those were things I just wanted to get off my mind. And I did remember it, and I'm like, yeah, they used to give my brother electroshocks. Why? You know, why they used
Yeah,
to
no,
do
because
that with him.
even in the 90s, I recall people saying, "Oh yeah, I have to give my kids Prozac and I have to get," and I'm like, what is that all about? Children with medication? Like that to me, unless it's a cold, with
Yeah, yeah,
I never understood that, and
there you
I
go.
was curious to see if there was any type of medication, how your mom resisted or not resist, or just took it as they know what they're
No,
doing.
my mom never really resisted. She never really resisted. Mom was always one that she would let the doctors do what they had to do. What Tommy would have a lot would be his pump and the asthma medication. They never, I can't recall them having any medication like for the autism because I don't even think they knew what autism was.
Right, right, absolutely interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, once you do all the research you need to do to get this documentary, and I would hope that the research will be done based on individualized interviews with families. Um, that's what I would like to see, not just based on medical history or yeah.
that's what I don't want. I don't want. I okay. There is some medical that's gonna have to because I have to do some medical research on it. But I want it to mainly be the families because I feel that the viewers will gravitate more to what the families have to say, not what the doctor has to say. The doctor, they're going on a medical or a psychologist on a mental viewpoint of it. No,
Mhm.
I want to sit with that family that is in, okay, the family that's in the either the suburb of Long Island and also the family that's sitting in the projects. I want all involved, every ethnic, the Chinese person, the Indian person, the African American person, the Hispanic person. I want all of that involved in order for the viewer to get a broader understanding of autism. And it would, and at the same time, like you said, the booklet, so they can see what they need to look for and how they need in the dynamic of, hey, I know your child is sick, but these are your children too. You understand they need your attention as much as this child needs your attention. Maybe if the mom or the dad or the mom and dad had a place where they know that their child is safe and had some help, they'll have more time to take care and take care of the needs of their other children. Those are things that I think about as well. So those are a lot of things that I'm going to put together. I'm really excited about it because I'm like, yes, this is something I feel passionate about,
I'm excited.
especially after what I went through.
I'm excited. And I would also consider a journal on audio for yourself as you're going through and writing and summarizing this document. Because I think
Absolutely.
that's important for all of us to know too, for the final product of it. I'm so proud
Absolutely.
of you, Maria. Thank you
Thank
again
you.
for coming and giving us some great feedback on your talent of getting your stories out there and putting them in film. And this one,
Thank you.
I can't wait until the final product where you're actually giving not only your view of life and what you've been through and a little bit of your history, but this one really is going to mean a lot to not just the community, that the people that love trap and the people.
Ah,
This one is going to be more for everyone,
yes,
everyone from all over the world. Because
that's what I want.
and congratulations on your 3 year anniversary for not
Thank
smoking,
you.
and keep up
Thank
the
you
good
so
work.
much. Thank you. You know what? One thing I had to chuckle on today. You have a photo of me with the red hair, and now I'm seeing myself with the gray hair,
And I
and
was
I'm
like,
like,
"Ooh."
Oh, you've really changed, young lady.
I was like, "Ooh, that's a big difference." When I
Let me tell, I just got tired of covering everything up and then having to do it every few weeks. I said, you know what, let the gray hairs fly. So what I did was I dyed the hair to match the grays, and I'm just letting everything grow out. This is how much I've evolved. It's like I'm at the point in my life where it's not about what I'm wearing and how they and this and it's about embracing everything, embracing my brother, embracing my grays, embracing me. It's just such a great evolution, and I'm so glad I shared it with you.
thank you. And you know me, I'm gonna stay with my black shirt, my salted coffee. Like I don't have to, that I guess when you get to a certain age, it's over. It's like I don't care what
Yeah,
the content of the conversation is more important than what we look. You know,
absolutely. You
that's
look lovely, honey. You look fantastic. Come on now.
but as far as I do this on YouTube so that the deaf and the people that are hard of hearing are able to see the words that are coming out of your mouth, and
Yes,
then for those who are blind, they're able to listen of what's coming out of your heart. So you gotta
yeah,
you gotta give it to everybody. You gotta give it to the podcasters, of the
absolutely.
people who listen, and you gotta give it to those who can't see. You know.
Listen, girl, you talk about evolution. You have evolved so much with your podcast, and I am so proud of what you do. I listen to your podcast. I listen to, follow you. We follow each other. I'm super proud of you, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. I changed a lot, right? From day one.
We listen. You have evolved beautifully.
Thank you. And I'm gonna hold you accountable for your talks. Because I was like, Maria, what's up? Like, what's going on? My friend?
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa? It's been 2 years. Like, where are you right now? And you're like, girl, let
I
me tell
know.
you.
Yeah, you remember? I was like, oh. But
So,
no, this has been something that's been brewing while I was taking care of, getting my brother,
absolutely.
eligible and all of that. Now that that part is done, and now that I know he's getting the help that he needs, now the work begins, girl. You already know. I've already started on the research and stuff like that because this is something that I want to bring out there. It's necessary.
And if you have to replay this again to just, recap on your own of what
Absolutely.
you said and the ideas, go ahead and do so. Feel free. You know where to find.
Definitely.
But
Oh yeah, you already know.
yeah, I'm about to go and go vote. Um, I had a topic, lobbying 101.
All
So
right.
on another platform, but I'm gonna post it on my Anchor platform. But I will be doing lobbying 101 part two next week. So I think it's
Awesome.
yeah. So that's really my mission, is to just get information out there, share what other people have to share. You know me. Um,
Yes.
when people ask me, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" It's kind of difficult to describe it because it's a little bit of everything and not too much of one thing. Too much of one
Let
thing.
me tell you, it's great what you're doing out there.
Yeah, I try, but
You're doing a great job, Mama.
well, you hang in there, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you, baby.
And you have a great day. Until I want to see now I'm like, I want to see his art. I want to see the art. Put it up in the art gallery. Sell that stuff and
It's
let.
gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Okay, good. Because I can't wait. And make sure you invite all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. That is something I will definitely do, honey.
Any last
Thank
word?
you so much. Last word I would like is for the sisters or the brother out there who has a sibling with autism and think that they're alone. I just want to let them know they're not alone. They're not alone. There is a power in numbers. And if they want to contact me, or want to get a hold of me, or want to, they can look for me on TikTok, look for me on Facebook, which way, and just to let them know they're not alone, and we're going to get through this together. Absolutely.
We have one message. Let's see here. So here's my sister. The
Hmm.
paperwork and abuse is insane. Absolutely. Hello, my love. I'm listening. Greetings. Hello, Icon. How are you? Thank you so much. This is my significant other. And
Oh.
Lulu, Shonda, congrats on quitting on many more to come. That's on the smoking. And then we have a message here from Stereo. I don't know what the person's going to say, and I don't know the person, but hopefully, if it's if I have to edit it, I will edit it because just never know.
Hi, Salty Coffee. Hi, Maria. I just listened to the trailer. When is it coming out? Wait a minute. Is the hold on? Do that girl got an STD? Did she give him an STD? What about the other girl? Wait. What happened?
So on Stereo, I put the little clip of Trapped, the film.
Yes.
She's talking about that. She's talking about Trap, but
Oh.
the book Trap, I think that's Dr. Love Spell. It's already out. You can purchase the book on Amazon, uh,
Yes.
and Trap too. So you can purchase the books on Amazon. You still have it on Kindle, right?
Yes, I do. It's still out on Kindle and paperback if they want, whoever still wants to read the old-fashioned way on paperback, it's still available. It's available on those platforms.
Okay. So before you leave, I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
do that. I'm gonna play a little bit more. And the film can be found on Roku on Caribbean channel. It's still
Well, no, it's not. It's no longer on Caribbean Channel. As a matter of fact, I am in talks with another channel in Roku from Roku,
okay.
in order for me to replay it again, because with the COVID and everything else that happened, there are some channels that are no longer in existence and stuff like that. So that's what I'm getting together, and I'm talking with a few people. But it'll be out soon. It'll be out soon. I promise.
So I don't know if I can share this, but let's see if this works. Share, and it's this one.
What?
It looks like I don't have enough cash.
Oh.
Why don't I take your number down and call you tomorrow?
Oh, shit. You heard me? Did you just bag me? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Daryl, I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow.
Yo, where's your partner, man? Don't worry, she'll be here, man. Let's hurry up and get this over with. Yo, shit! Sal Jeans, you on some drug trafficking. Don't fucking move. Fucking move. Put your hands on the fucking damn. That's all you got to say to me after getting me run up by the cops? You think I don't know you snitch, nigga? You ain't that bitch Butterface, you ain't no bitch.
Well, call me what you want. The driver told me his boo. You know what, bitch? The next time you decide to talk about senior citizens.
Fresh up the pot, what you serve? Busting them shots like a curry. Getting chicken in a hurry.
So
Yes,
for
Ooh, God, watching that was amazing.
I know I was like, ooh, that's a lot of cursing. But it's
Yeah, that's one of the things. There was a lot of, cursing on it, but it just brought me back to when I was filming it. When I was filming and the different areas that I filmed. I filmed all over East Harlem, all over El Barrio. So it was an experience. It just brought back a lot of memories.
that's what I love. I love to read the book Trap One. Trap Two is more intricate and more inclusive of all over New York, like including a university that's so dear to me. And I
Yes.
one point. But the storyline is it's what some people may say, oh, here's another, like another hood movie. But I don't see it like that. If you read the book, you get a little bit more out of it than watching the movie. The
Absolutely.
film is just like the icing on that cake, that good
Yes.
tres leche cake.
Yes, yes. But the book, one of the things I'm always told regarding the book is, they feel the reader told me, I feel like I'm walking with Angelina as she's going through all of these emotions, and when all the emotions she's feeling is, I feel the emotions, and I feel the pain, and I feel the joy, and I feel this. And that's what I like to bring into the books. That's why in the documentary, going back with the documentary, I want to bring that. I want the person that sees that documentary, I want them to say, oh my God, this is me.
That's me.
That's what I want. Because that's what I always bring into everything I write. The raw emotion. I
Yeah,
love bringing the raw
even
emotion.
though the trailer for the film pinpoints on real like issues, if you read and watch the whole thing, you'll see that you put everybody in New York City in that film. Everyone, from the
Yes.
good girl trying to do the right thing, who's still in a system that may be corrupted, from the girl who just wants to look cute and wants that person to just provide for her, and she uses all kinds of manipulation to get what she wants out of the whole, it's kind of, that's what I like about Trap, that it includes
Thank you.
everyone in the story.
And I love to have a backstory to every character that
Hmm.
I do. If you remember with Trap, the one that's the gold digger, she had a backstory.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
She had a backstory because we're all human. It's just things make us do and be who we are. Butterface had a backstory. Dee Dee had a backstory. I'm talking about the villains in the book. They both, yeah. Well, they are who they are because of what happened to them in the past. And
And
that's what I love bringing into
yeah.
whatever I write.
So definitely, if you haven't purchased the book yet, I recommend that you purchase the book before you watch the film.
Thank you.
The film again is just the icing, the decoration, the visual, if you will. Um, but it's one of those things where people like the book was way better, like one of those things. But I think they're both
Mm,
equally okay. But you definitely
yeah.
get, especially the first initial thing on the book that you do not see on the film. That's what made it for me. Like I'm like, whoa.
Exactly, exactly. And I want it. I'm a big Stephen King fan. I believe in mystery and all of that crazy stuff. So I said I got to add a little twist to this. So that's why
And
I put the twist that
you
I
had
did.
mentioned that when it comes to filming, that's not the format. Like when you do reading and writing, you have to catch the audience, the reader, immediately. And when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing film, it just gradually gets to the point, to the point. And
Absolutely.
sometimes the plot doesn't even have to be in it. You just have to figure out what it is for you. Um,
Exactly, exactly. And you know, those are things that I had to learn. And it's funny because at the end of filming and editing and everything with traps, I swear, Wanda, I go to a movie now and I see a movie totally different.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do not see it the same. I see it in the technical standpoint.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, wow. Well, you know, things that I didn't see before, I see it now. And yeah, I was talking with, as a matter of fact, I spoke with that about with Jamel Howard, the one who plays Daryl.
Hmm.
And he's like, that's what I wanted you to understand. Because before we did a little clashing, because I'm like, wait a minute, but this. He's like, that's what I wanted you to understand. Because now I see it where simple scenes can become a whole big thing. It's crazy, but yeah, I learned a lot.
We have one more message, and then we're gonna close it out.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a book. Wait a minute. Is it audio book? Because you know I can't read. Is it audio book?
She's so silly. She said, "Wait a minute, is it audio book?" Well, if you don't want to read, then you can find the film, I guess.
Yes,
She wants to
and
know
the
if it's
film will
on
be out
audio.
soon.
I think maybe if you can do a do you want to do a trap reading one day on a
I
specific
would,
platform?
I would, I would, I would. Why not? Why
Okay.
not? Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, I would. You know, I mean, like I said, Trapped is so
Will
near
TikTok
and
let you
dear
do
to my
it?
heart.
TikTok will let you do it because you're that's your book. Hello. The heck? So maybe if you do like a chapter on trap on TikTok live.
Sure, sure. You know what? I think that's something somewhat, you know what? And it was suggested to me a while ago, but like I said, with the thing with COVID and then my brother and everything else, I never really thought about it. But now that I'm in the platform with TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, well, mainly TikTok, but now
Oh
that
no,
I'm with
but
that,
because again, if you get a certain amount of number of people, when you do a live on TikTok, does it save as is it downloadable?
I don't know. I would have to find out if it's downloadable. I know it wasn't when TikTok first became a very well-known thing, it wasn't. It was like you did the live and that's it. It wasn't safe. Now I know that you can share. Like while I'm live, you
Okay,
can share
so I'll
to other people at TikTok. Hey, she's live, and then they'll come on and then I'll be yeah, but that sounds good, doing a nice little reading on a live and things like that, because
especially
yeah.
that first scene on the book. I
Yes.
mean, you
Yes.
could just do that, just that scene on the book,
Yes,
the first talk, and leave it as I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time,
there
same
you go,
station.
there you go. That
I would love
sounds
to see
good.
that. Yeah, I would love to see that. All right,
Definitely.
one more message.
Yes, I mean, Maria, you should really consider doing an audiobook. And because I like listening to books, you know, I'm
Okay.
more of a listener than a reader. So, you know, that would be a good idea. And you can just put it out there on Amazon. Because I just looked it up on Amazon. Audiobook. I look up your name and I'm like, yeah, it's not on here. You answer my
No.
question. I'm like, oh man, if it was, I would have bought it. And then
Oh,
just sit here and listen to it.
Okay, so I'll work with Maria to put it on Audible, which now
yes.
it's available for free for you, Maria, and I'm going to show you how to do it.
Oh, please, please do, so that way I
You
can
can
get it on
record it,
Audible, because that would be
yeah.
great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to reach everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone I want to reach.
yeah.
Absolutely. So soon on Audible
Okay, so
with Wanda's help.
All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure that you take care of your brother like you have been all these years.
Thank you.
And make
Thank
sure, more
you.
importantly, that you take care of yourself, young lady.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do something for myself this afternoon. I am gonna go to dinner with a friend, and that's something I haven't done in a long time. And and come back home and get ready for work. You already know.
We all work. I get it. And that's fine. Well, thank you so much for saying yes again to Salty Coffee. I truly
Oh,
and genuinely appreciate
anytime.
it. And for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about writing, screenwriting, film writing, filming, producing, editing, whatever, feel free to reach out to Maria.
Yes.
Maria, what's your website again? Is it still
Well,
up?
website. Actually, the website is down because I had some glitches on it that I had to take care of it, but they can get in contact with me at MCT Publications, LLC, at Outlook.com. Get in contact with me there, send me your information to the email, and I definitely will get back to you. And whatever I can help with, I am your gal.
What's your name on TikTok?
TikTok is NY underscore Rican underscore productions. And it's the same on Instagram, NY underscore Rican underscore productions. And Facebook is Maria Tutie, Tutie Hernandez.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you have a blessed day. Take care of
Thank you,
yourself.
my love. You too.
And I just can't wait for your journey on this project to be
Oh,
fulfilled.
yes. You already know I'm coming back on Salty Coffee to talk about it.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Mwah, you too, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So that was Maria Hernandez, and I'm so glad she reached out to me, and or I reached out to her again to say, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? I want you back in the show. And I'm so proud of her with her cigarette smoking um, journey to stop. Excuse me. But again, this broadcast has been brought to you by Bamblish, the product for every woman with periods. BAMBLISH. Thank you again, everyone, and have a great day. Don't forget to vote for New York City, New York State.